All right, you guys, welcome back to another video. Happy holidays. As you can see, we're getting a little festive and we're in the spirit here. And in today's video, we're just going to actually test Tesla's self-parking features when you're using FSD. So in 14.2.1, they put out this update and you can now tell the car where to park when you're arriving at your destination. So you can tell it to park on the curb, you can tell it to park in the driveway. And prior to this, it was spotty. It did not do this. Sometimes it didn't. At least in the case of my house, it hardly ever pulled into the driveway. It would actually park across the street on the curb if I was coming from that direction. And then it would park on the curb in front of my house right here if I was coming from that direction. So very rarely did the car actually pull into the driveway and park. Now with this new arrival option thing that they got going, I'm gonna test that feature today because I have a great driveway for this to actually test this feature. It's a 3-car driveway, but technically you can park 4 cars here. I'll show you what I mean by that. And as you can see, this is an empty spot right here. My wife is not here. She's got the pink Model 3. And so there's a parking space that's open. This is going to give me the opportunity to move these cars around and test whether or not the car is going to park in the open spot. So that's what we're going to test today. And I hope that the outcome is going to be pretty good because prior to this update, it was very messy. A lot of times you would just have to take control of the car once you were kind of pulling up to your destination, and you would just have to park the car yourself, right? So on some very rare occasions, it would park in a parking lot. I made a video on this recently. I'll link it at the end of this video, but without further ado, let's get into testing the car's ability to park in my driveway based on how the cars are parked. So I'm gonna rearrange the cars and then we'll go from there. All right, you guys, so we got the cars rearranged. We've got the Model Y parked where the S was. I pulled the Prius out and I parked it on the edge as much as I could. So we have this area where the Model S has to park, and let's go ahead and jump in the car. I've got it pulled off here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around the block, and then on the back side of the block, I'm gonna initiate FSD, and we'll see if the car's able to park itself. And then we're gonna do this a couple of times. We're gonna play merry-go-round with the parking spaces. I'm gonna rearrange the car a couple times, and we're gonna see how that goes. So let's hop in the Model S. All right, you guys, so I'm around the corner from my house. As you can see in the navigation, it's just around the corner right here. And I'm gonna start self-driving, and then I'm gonna tell the car to park in the driveway. So let's test this feature out. Set to driveway and chill mode. So I am using my phone for this, and there might be a little bit of camera shake, so I apologize in advance. It's yielding to this truck that's turning. Now we're turning onto my street here, and let's see how well the car does. It's got the blinker on, and it's looking to park. Oh, epic fail. Oh, wait, hold on. What's it doing? Okay, that was an epic fail. So let's try it again. Oops, I'm going to reverse. Let's try this again. All right, we're back in that same exact spot. We're gonna try this again. And this will probably be the last chance I give it before I rearrange the cars and try again. Funny enough, it's been doing really well. And then the one time I tried to do this on film, it kind of doesn't do right. Now, I'm not making any excuses for this. I'm just telling you what my experience has been. So let's see what happens here. Same exact setup. And Nope. Epic, epic fail. I took over. Let's try this if we come from it at a different angle. So we'll skip to when we're ready to set up. All right, so as you can see here on the navigation, I'm just coming to my house from a different angle. We'll give it a third try. And if it fails here, then we are gonna rearrange the cars in the driveway. But let's see what happens here. Whoa, what's happening here? Is it gonna back in to that third spot fast? That's really interesting. I did not expect that at all. I thought it was gonna blow it all together. Wow, okay. So, for some reason, it wouldn't park here coming from that other direction. But when I come from this opposite direction, it did park into the open space. So, fun fact, interesting find. All right, give me a second. I'm gonna rearrange the cars and we'll try again. All right, you guys, we're on the back side of my neighborhood block now. I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in FSD, self-driving. We're gonna tell it to park in the driveway, which is it's already set to. And just for a frame of reference, I did move the Prius over to that third spot. So now it's got to park in between the two cars in the driveway. And we're just gonna test this functionality. Now I do park in that first spot pretty often. So, you know, it's clear that the car wanted to park in the first spot where the Model Y was. But for whatever the case may be, it did not park in the third spot coming from this direction in the first two attempts. It wasn't until the third attempt coming from the other direction that the car parked in the open spot. So let's see what it does here. And here we go. Look, it looks good. Beautiful. All right. Very nice. Now, we know the car wants that first spot. I'm pretty confident that if I move the Model Y to where we are parked at this moment, that it'll park in that third spot, but or in that first spot, sorry. But let's test it anyways. We'll be right back. All right, we're on the back side of the neighborhood. I just moved the Model Y over to that second spot. Let's go ahead and start self-driving. It's already set for the driveway. Again, you can change this here. If you needed to change it, that's how you would do it. And I'm pretty confident it's gonna park in that spot. It wanted that spot when we started this little experiment. But let's just see how it goes. Yield. This should just be a stop sign, dude. People haul butt through here too much. All right, it's putting its blinker on to turn into the driveway. And here we go. Oof. Why is the suspension? Yeah, it should be going very high so that we don't scrape. Feels like we're scraping. Okay, so I was pretty confident in that one. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this one more time. I'm gonna park the Prius in this spot, and I'm gonna come from the same direction, and then it will have to park in that third open spot. So let's see what happens with that. All right, you guys, I'm on the backside of my neighborhood block. Again, as you can see here, I'm gonna stick it into self-driving mode. We're gonna see if it'll park in that third spot, this time coming from this direction. It did fail on the first 2 attempts. I'm gonna give it a third try. And then what I found interesting is when I was driving to my house from the other direction, when it backed in, I wanna see if it'll behave that same way in the next 2 spots. So we're gonna do a couple of more of these just to test the car coming from the other direction, because typically this is the direction that I come from whenever I leave the house and I'm coming back home. Typically, I'm coming from not the direction we're driving at this very moment, but when we make this left turn, which would be coming, if you're unfamiliar with Tucson, it'd essentially be coming from the west. So we're driving south and we're turning west now. And let's see what the car does. Oh, the robot learns. No, it blew it. It blew it. What is the car's fascination with the model parking behind the Model Y, dude? So that's an epic fail. And it is what it is. I'm not going to make any excuses for the car. But I do want to rearrange the cars one more time and just come from this direction now. Because all of our attempts we've been coming from this direction. And with the exception of one time, and we saw, and in that case, it backed in, right? So just for the sake of experimentation, let's rearrange the cars. The car clearly wants these 2 spots. But let's just see how it does. Matter of fact, just for the sake of the video, we're gonna leave the cars how they are. We'll come from this direction one more time, just to make sure that backing in wasn't a fluke, and then we'll move these 2 cars around. So let's do that. All right, so here we are coming from the other direction. You can see the map adjusted itself here. And we're gonna see if it'll back in again in that third spot or not. And regardless of whether it does, we'll rearrange the cars and try the other 2 spots coming from this direction. So essentially we're coming from east to west now. And it is gonna back in again. Interesting. So I wonder if it's just I mean, the car should know, right? If we're talking about AI, I mean, I've had this car for almost 2 years. It should know that this third space is here with all of the driving and parking I have done at my home over the course of the last 2 years, right? So anyways, we'll have to give you an update down the road on whether or not it learns to park in this space when coming from the other direction. But for now, it's 2 for 2 parking in this space when we're coming from the east. So let's rearrange the cars, and we'll do this 2 more times with the 2 other spots. All right, I'm just gonna bust a U-ey right here, because this is the end of my street. And I'm gonna go ahead and start self-driving. And I did move the Prius to that third spot, but I did something a little bit different this time. I actually pulled it all the way up to the side of the house. So that third spot is open. And so the first and the third spot is open in the driveway. So let's see what happens. Let's see if it takes the third spot again or if it goes for the first spot. We'll take a look here. Oh, and it's gonna pull straight in to the first spot this time. Interesting. All right, so the last thing we have to do is just move the Model Y to the third spot and leave the first 2 spaces open. So let me rearrange the cars and we will fire it back up from the end of the block again. All right, we're right here at the end of my block. Again, we're just gonna make a U-turn. We're gonna swipe it and let's see what it does. I'm pretty confident it's going to park. I mean, there's two wide open. The first two spots are wide open, so I'm pretty confident that it's going to park itself appropriately and leave space for the third car to be parked. So let's see what happens. Beautiful. Well, actually, it parked in the middle of the driveway. So my wife would not like that because now she doesn't have anywhere to park. But did it park in the driveway? Yes, it did. Should we count that as a completed action? I think so. I think it did what it was supposed to do. But I think, you know, as you can see from this particular parking event and the one that that we did when the two first parking spaces are taken, then it's fair to say, like, yes, this thing is doing really well, but it needs a little bit of work. And this is just my home driveway. I haven't had an opportunity to practice this elsewhere. Actually, let me go ahead and switch the camera view. All right, as I was saying, I haven't really had the opportunity to practice this elsewhere, like grocery stores or clients' homes and things of that nature, because I do a lot of house calls. So, but as a first iteration, not terrible. I think the car did okay. And that's it. That's all we have for you in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know. Oh, hey, listen, also, I noticed, let me show you something else really quickly. Okay, just really quickly, one other thing I noticed is that if you set a destination for a supercharger, let me just buckle up so I can actually show this to you. The car might actually start to move as well, but I just want to show you the fact that it's giving you the option to actually park in a charger. Yep, there it goes right there. Let me just get out of the street. All right, so as I was saying, it gives you the opportunity to park in the supercharger now, right? So I want to test that. It should probably be a few days before I can get around to doing it. There's only 4 superchargers in Tucson. So yeah, there was 3 for a while. They just added a new one. I made a video on that. But listen, we'll test that as soon as we can. And with all the driving that I got to do in order to do that video, it's going to be a one-shot thing only. The car has one chance to park in a supercharger properly and appropriately in order for me to do that video. So anyways, that's all we have for you in this one. Let me know what you guys think about Tesla's new parking features that they've built into the FSD software. And let me know what your guys' experience are with it if you have FSD and you're in a different location, because I'm in Tucson, Arizona. So, you know, there's no YouTubers, I don't think, in Tucson that are doing any Tesla content or FSD content. So this is one of the other reasons why I wanted to start the channel. I just wanted to bring some familiarity to my particular area. So anyways, that's all we have for you now. Let me know what you guys think about the video. Subscribe, turn on the noties so you can get notified when our videos go up. Thanks for watching. Peace.